Hey everyone, Eric and Nelson here once again, and thank you for tuning into my YouTube channel. Well, I am back with another book review, which I will be reviewing Wodke Hawkinson's Betrayed. Now, before I begin the review, there is actually two things that I want to clear up. First of all, if you haven't seen my other reviews where I review books that I got on the Kindle, here's why I have a copy of the cover of the book on the paper. It's on my Kindle, and my webcam is on my laptop, which my Kindle is also on my laptop, and I'm not really uh, intelligent on how all those gadgets work, so I had to go for this right here. The second thing that I want to tell you all about is if you are a woman who, not to be sexist here, but if you're a woman, I not only should you not see this review, but I would probably you should probably think twice before reading this book, because the first part of this book has a lot of scenes with violence towards the main female character. I mean, not only is there a lot of violence in the first part, but the authors are very detailed in the violence, very graphic, and I'll I'll put it to you this way. Obviously, I'm a man, and even I kind of even I kind of got a little lightheaded, and sometimes even my stomach churned a little. And believe me, I'm the type of person who can watch The Exorcist over and over again and go to sleep with a smile on my face. So, in other words, try to basically, okay, now since I'm a man and since I got a little disturbed by it, both men and women, be cautious before you buy this, or in other words, brace yourselves. Okay, now let's get to the real review. Betrayed is about a girl named Brooke who actually has a pretty good life. She lives in Denver and seems to have a good husband, and she really seems to have no worries in the world. I mean, she basically has a really good life, and reading that, it seemed like I kind of knew that something was going to happen, because that's usually the sort of like the quote unquote teaser where everything seems okay or mediocre okay or very okay, and then something happens. Well, something does happen. She is kidnapped, in her car, and then she is taken in by a couple of murderers, rapists, or basically kidnappers, where she's held captive. And as I said, as she's held captive, she is brutally beaten and raped several times, including there's even a female kidnapper. Well, she's not really a kidnapper. She's the girlfriend of one of the kidnappers, and she partakes in a little bit of it. Which, by the way, now I don't know if it's just me, but sometimes when it's a woman doing it to another woman, I mean violent, acts, it's actually a little bit more disturbing. I'm sorry if some of my comments are a little sexist. I'm not. It's just my own personal view on it. Yeah, basically a woman hitting another a woman, or in other words, raping her, kind of set me a little off too. So then, but then fortunately, she does manage to escape barely, and she is still without any clothes on. And then she comes across a man named Lance, who's living in the wilderness. and he's not sort of, and he wasn't like a left there, as a youth, and then he becomes like a jungle boy or anything like that. No, he actually did live in civilization for a long time, but he just sort of kind of like gave up on life. And then, and then she meets him, and then they strike up a few conversations after, at first at first she thinks that he's one of the kidnappers when he's not, and she sees that in him. And in some way, it kind of works like Beauty and the Beast, the Disney version, where she meets someone, or where she meets somebody who's isolated from society, like how the Beast was, and in Beauty and the Beast, and they kind of like connect, and in some ways they help each other out. Like, she helps him kind of like realize that civilization isn't that bad, and he helps her with her physical wounds. And then as time goes on within the book, we see why the book is called to be trade. Now, I'm not going to tell you why it's called to be trade, because believe me, as I said in my other reviews, I don't want to reveal too much, because I want you all to see it for yourselves. And believe me, the shocker is very unexpected. Really, it is. So basically, folks, if you're looking for an entertaining thriller, but very disturbing one too, especially in the first part, yeah, sure, pick this right up. And I like how, the other thing that I like about this book is how in the beginning we see Baruch as the we know that she is the main character. She seems to have a good life, and then she's being kidnapped and being tortured, and we kind of think that she will be the center point of the whole story, which she is. But then, as the book goes on, we also get Lance in the picture, and as I was learning about Lance, he really did sort of have like an interesting backstory as well, and I kind of forgot about Baruch a couple of times, even though she was right there. So it's kind of like, so the beginning was almost like a teaser too, where we think it's just going to be about Baruch and Baruch alone, when it's not. It's also going to be about another person. But then, of course, towards the end, we see why it's called Betrayed, and then Baruch's backstory comes back into place. So anyway, folks, yes, pick this book up. Trade on the Kindle, on the Nook, or on the bookstore, or anywhere. So yeah, if you want a great book, and both entertaining and disturbing, this is it.